That's the motto. Drop a few bills and pop a few champagne bottles. Throwing that money like you just won the lotto. Weeping up all damn summer, making that bread and butter. Tell me did I just stutter? That's the motto. Drop a few bills and pop a few champagne bottles. Throwing that money like you just won the lotto. Weeping up all damn summer, making that bread and butter. Tell me did I just stutter? That's the motto.
Hello and welcome to the second version of Would You Take? And it's a player that I'm bringing to the table today. So, boys, I wanted to run this player past you both. It'll be a player who you will all be very, very familiar with. And that player is a Mr. GINI WIJNALDUM. GINI WIJNALDUM, as you both know, former Newcastle player. Absolutely. Well, I was going to say great age. He's not really a great age. I'd probably be lying if I said he was a great age. He was a great age in his first spell with Newcastle, but maybe not so much now. So GINI WIJNALDUM, he's 32 years of age. He's going to be 33 in November. Currently on loan from PSG at Roma. And I believe he's got 1 year left on his deal. Now, the reason I brought GINI WIJNALDUM to the table on this occasion is because a statement came out from GINI a couple of days ago, basically saying that nothing's been made, no decisions have been made. No one, he's not entirely sure where he'll be plying his trade next season. And what I wanted to ask you, boys, is whether or not you think that GINI WIJNALDUM could make a return to Newcastle, and would he be a player that you would take? So I'll start with you first, Daz. What are your thoughts on GINI? Would you want him back?
Okay, GINI, yeah, great season for us. When I think it was the 2017 season. I can't remember now exactly, but yeah, he scored 11 goals in 38 games. Loved a home game. Hated away games. He didn't score in any away game. But yeah, he comes with Premier League experience, Champions League experience, and Newcastle experience as well. And he was there in the dark old days of Mike Ashley. As you said, he was on loan at Roma. I think he only played 14 games with Roma. It could have been injuries and stuff this season. And but would I take him? If you're given to me on a free, I know he's a year left in his contract at PSG. If he was to come on a free, if they were to terminate his contract in some fashion, because they obviously don't want him now. If you could get him on a free, I would. If on an average wage and kind of incentivized bonuses, I'd consider him, I guess, then, and have it in a way that to give him an option of another year, but the injuries and stuff now has me a bit worried. And he's a totally different player than when he was with us. Like with us, he was more an attacking midfielder kind of way. But with Liverpool, he was kind of more defensive midfielder. Klopp changed him, altered him. So he would bring experience. He was a good lad as well with us. I think I still remember the walking out in St James's Park and the look on his face. You couldn't fake that. He was just in awe of St James's Park. And but I'd consider him. And Eddie Howe needs a bit of experience as well going into a Champions League season. So the wages, and if you could tell me that he'd be available for selection, yeah, I'd put him into consideration then.
Pete, I'm gonna pose a couple of questions to you now. I can't believe I'm bringing this up because I'm gonna get absolutely levered as I always do, making Everton comparisons, but I'm gonna. So we saw. I don't even know where this come from. It just popped into my head when Daz was talking. We saw that Idrissa Gana Gueye left PSG to go back to Everton. Do you think that a similar thing could happen with GINI? From what I gather, the fact that they've loaned him out to Roma would suggest that perhaps they don't want to keep him. And as Daz rightly says, if GINI were to come back, he's going to be coming back as I would say, a more complete midfielder than what he was when he left Newcastle as that number 10, like Daz said. He's now, you could argue, more of a central midfielder. Do you think, that GINI WIJNALDUM would fit in this Eddie Howe system? And also, do you think that, PSG will be looking to offload him? And would he be someone that you would take?
Firstly, I hadn't thought of what you mentioned, Chris, in terms of just a guy gay went from PSG Everton to PSG and then back. So yeah, great point that you mentioned there, and could it be the same for Gini Wijnaldum? Who knows? Who's to say that it couldn't? Look, first things first. I love Genie. I love him, and I know you do, Chris, as well. I was absolutely, I was silently distraught to lose him.
Yeah.
We were all resigned to the fact that we were going to lose him. And I remember he played in the pre-season friendly, and he played really well. I think he came on and did a cameo, and then it was like a few hours later, it was a done deal to Liverpool. And I was in bits. He's such a good player. But you're right. He's a different player now. He was a number 10 for us,
Yeah.
but he made his name at Liverpool playing as a number 6 and a number 8 for most of his time at the club. And it showed me that he had different levels to his game by playing the way he did at Liverpool. The question you asked me, does he fit into the style of play of Newcastle? 100%. He fits into exactly how we want to play. Intensity, high press, quality on the ball, can score a goal from deep, can arrive late into the box. He has all the tools. Obviously, the big question is his fitness right? A broken leg is never easy to recover from, although he is back now. 32 years old, like as you've said, not necessarily a great age, but what it brings, he brings a hell of a lot of experience. He's won trophies since he left Newcastle. He's got Champions League experience, which we need this season. We do. And I genuinely think he would drop his wages, and he would. I think he would, be a nominal fee to come to Newcastle. I think PSG are looking to slash their wage bill. I think a nominal fee would get the deal done, and I think he would be more than happy to come back to Newcastle, because he even said he was really happy at Newcastle. He enjoyed his season there. Yeah. He didn't necessarily want to leave, but we got relegated, and that was what kind of that was the guillotine right there in terms of moving on. 32 years old. Put that aside. I'd take him. I would. I really would. It'd be like it's one of those great moments. It's one of those great moments is where a legend of the club. He only was there a season, but we still talk about him in such a positive way. Yeah. Like a well talked about, a well spoken about player coming back to the club. It would be a great moment. It really would.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because like we both said, yourself and Daz, he's a player who was very fondly thought of during his time at Newcastle, albeit it was a short period. But you've mentioned, Pete, that he's coming back as a more complete midfielder. He fits the Eddie Howe mould. Yes, he's towards the end of his career, but how much experience and how much know-how and would he bring to the team? And not only that, I think, and we spoke about Wilfried Zaha, didn't we, on the first show? I think someone like Gini Wijnaldum has still got a point to prove. And I think in his statement that he did the other day, he did actually say that he just wants to play football. He hasn't played enough football in the last 2 years. So for him to come back to Newcastle, feel that love, I think there would definitely be worse moves out there. So I suppose one of my last questions for you both is: Do you think Gini Wijnaldum, one, would be interested in the move back to Newcastle, and two, do you think that the Newcastle faithful would welcome him back with open arms, or do you think there would still be some people there who were a little bit upset at the way that he left?
I think he would come back to Newcastle. I think the fan base will be a bit split, though, as in they'd be thinking someone younger, bringing in someone at that age. There would be question marks of it, but would they see that the experience that he can bring? Look at Gundogan at City. Look what he's done for them. Similar kind of age now. Maybe Gini's a bit older, but like he's done a massive job for them, and they want to extend his contract. There's talk. So like having someone like that's been there, done it all, and has maybe something left to prove at Newcastle, it's worth a shot.
What about you, Pete?
You see, I think Newcastle. You know what we're like as fan base. We're all like, when it's like rumored, we're like, should we not? But when it's confirmed, everyone's like, great signing, get him in. Everyone loves him. Everyone's bigging him up. If that was to be confirmed and he was coming back to Newcastle, no doubts in my mind that every Newcastle fan would be welcoming him with open arms back to the club because of what he did for us in that season. And I kind of maybe was one step ahead of the game. I said like he was a legend of the club. Maybe not a legend, but he was a well thought of player at the club, should I say. And so with that, players like that are always welcome back. That's what I'd say with that. They're always welcome back when they've done good things for the club and they talk about the club in such a positive way as GINI WIJNALDUM did. You talked about it, Chris, the reaction when he first walked into the stadium and his opinion of the club when he first signed. It was amazing, right? Amazing. Yeah. And he would bring that all back. And that means a lot to Newcastle fans. We don't forget very easily about how people feel about the club and the city. I think he'd snap our hands off to come back to Newcastle. I actually think he would snap our hands off to come back and play as a squad player. I genuinely do, because I think the love that we show our players playing for this club means more than anything. I think it does. And I genuinely believe that fighting on four fronts in England, he'd play a lot of minutes at Newcastle. I think he'd play enough games and he'd have enough minutes with manager's injury and his broken leg and his recovery very, very well, similar to what we do with Callum Wilson. I think we'd manage him very, very well. And I genuinely think that he would offer something really, really positive at Newcastle if he was to sign. Now, look, the realities of whether he signs or not is a different conversation. But would I take him?
Oh, hang on. Hang on. Just before I do ask that very final question, I just want to remind everyone. No. Just before I ask that very final question, I just want to remind everyone, if you haven't already, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and comment, and obviously subscribe to the channel. All the support that we receive from yourselves, it does not go unnoticed. And even in these shorts, we appreciate you not in the chat live, but it is brilliant. Keep your comments coming. We will respond to them. And yeah, just a massive thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. Now, final question. So, boys, we're here. Is GINI a yes or a no? Would you take GINI WIJNALDUM? 3, 2, 1. Yes.
Come on.
Hey, you say what? That's 2 shows down. All in agreement.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
No split panels yet.
No,
thank you very much for watching. Get there. Yeah, we will. There will be some ones where we disagree, I'm sure.
Would they take?
Yes,
that's the other question.
GINI WIJNALDUM. Put it in the comments. Let us know whether you would take GINI WIJNALDUM back at Newcastle.
One more question, Chris. How'd you like that?
How you like
drink it high. Like me, then tell him you like